The emergency alert pierced through all 6 layers of Starbase Medical, its unique frequency indicating a Class 1 trauma case. Dr. ZYX-427 extended their sensory appendages in alarm. Class 1 meant immediately fatal injuries. As chief xenobiologist of the galaxy's most advanced medical facility, they had treated thousands of species, but something about this alert felt different. Deathworlder incoming. Human male, multiple organ failure, severe radiation exposure, and complete cellular degradation of the outer dermis. The medical AI's usual calm voice carried an edge of urgency that made Dr. ZYX-427's chromatophores pulse with anxiety. The doctor had never treated a human before. Their species was notorious throughout the galaxy, classified as Deathworlders due to their origin on a planet that should have been too hostile to support sentient life. The few documented cases of human medical treatment were controversial at best, with conflicting data that seemed almost impossible. The emergency bay doors hissed open. The patient's body floated in a stasis field, surrounded by a team of multi-species medical professionals. Dr. ZYX-427's diagnostic sensors recoiled at the readings. By any reasonable medical standard, this human was already dead. The construction worker's protective suit had been breached during an orbital repair job. Exposure to hard radiation, vacuum, and micrometeorite impacts had shredded his external tissue. According to the readouts, over 70% of his cells showed critical damage. Beginning emergency protein reconstruction, Dr. ZYX-427 announced, extending their medical tentacles toward the patient. But before they could activate the regeneration field, something extraordinary happened. The human's tissue began moving. Not degrading, as expected with cellular breakdown, but reorganizing. Impossible, whispered Dr. ZYX-427's first assistant, their eye stalks trembling. The dermis is regenerating? Before their clustered visual organs, the human skin was knitting itself back together. The radiation burns were fading. Even the internal organ damage was showing signs of spontaneous repair. Dr. ZYX-427's probability nodes struggled to process what they were seeing. In their 300 cycles of medical practice, they had never witnessed anything like this. According to all known medical science, these kinds of injuries were irreversible without immediate intensive care. The human's eyes snapped open. Did anyone get the number of that asteroid? He croaked, attempting what their database identified as a human smile. Dr. ZYX-427's chromatophores flashed in shock. This wasn't just unprecedented, it was about to rewrite everything they thought they knew about biological resilience. And somewhere in the back of their highly logical mind, a disturbing thought emerged. Perhaps there was a very good reason humans were classified as Deathworlders after all. Dr. ZYX-427's medical bay had never been so crowded. Word had spread quickly through Starbase Medical about the human who had survived what should have been a fatal accident, and now representatives from 12 different species were crammed into the observation area, their various sensory organs fixed on the recovering patient. Jack Chen sat on the bio bed, looking remarkably comfortable for someone who had been clinically dead just 6 hours ago. The construction worker's vital signs displayed on the holographic monitors above his head, each reading more impossible than the last. Please explain again what happened before the accident, Dr. ZYX-427 requested, their chromatophores shifting to a professional shade of blue-green. Jack scratched his newly regenerated skin, much to the horror of the watching aliens. Like I said, we were reinforcing the quantum communications array on the outer ring. Standard job, done it 100 times. Then something hit us, space debris, maybe. Next thing I know, my suit's integrity alarm is screaming, and I'm feeling the burn of hard vacuum. The doctor's appendages rippled with distress. And you remained conscious? For about 30 seconds, yeah. Long enough to trigger my emergency beacon. Jack shrugged, a gesture that made several of the observing aliens flinch. Honestly, I've had worse accidents back on Earth. There was this one time with a plasma cutter. The medical bay doors slid open, interrupting Jack's story. A human woman in a pristine white medical coat strode in, her presence immediately commanding attention. The aliens parted before her like a tide. Dr. Rivera, Department of Xenological Relations, she announced, her dark eyes scanning the room. I believe you requested a human medical expert. Dr. ZYX 427's chromatophores pulsed with relief. Yes, yes. Please, we have questions about the patient's unprecedented recovery rate. Dr. Rivera reviewed the medical logs, her expression growing more serious with each swipe of the holographic display. Mr. Chen's case is remarkable, but not entirely unprecedented. Humans have evolved exceptional regenerative capabilities due to our planet's unique challenges. But the radiation exposure alone, one of the observing aliens began, would have killed most species instantly, Dr. Rivera nodded. However, human cells have developed multiple redundant repair mechanisms. What you're witnessing is the result of millions of years of evolution on a planet that constantly tried to kill us. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Dr. ZYX 427's probability nodes were working overtime, processing this new information against centuries of established medical knowledge. There's more, Dr. Rivera continued, her voice dropping slightly. Mr. Chen's recovery, while impressive, isn't even the most remarkable case I've seen. There was an incident last year on Mars. Before she could finish, an urgent message flashed across the medical bay's communication system. Dr. ZYX 427's chromatophores shifted to alarmed crimson as they read it. The Galactic Medical Council is demanding immediate access to all data regarding the patient's recovery, they announced. They're classifying this as a potential Class A biological security event. Jack sat up straighter on the bio bed. Wait, what does that mean? Dr. Rivera's expression darkened. It means, Mr. Chen, that your miraculous recovery has just made you the most interesting human in the galaxy. And not everyone who's interested has your best interests in mind. Outside the medical bay's windows, the eternal night of space stretched out, dotted with the lights of approaching ships. More were arriving every hour, drawn by the news of the impossible human who wouldn't die. Dr. ZYX 427's diagnostic sensors detected elevated stress hormones in both humans. The doctor's probability nodes calculated rapidly increasing odds that this medical miracle was about to become something far more complicated, and potentially dangerous, than a simple case study. In the observation area, one of the aliens quietly slipped away, activating a secure communications channel to an encrypted frequency. The message was brief: confirmation received. Human regenerative capabilities exceed all previous estimates. Proceeding with Phase 2. The request from the Zektheri Research Institute seemed innocent enough at first glance. They merely wanted to conduct a standard biological survey of Jack Chen's regenerative capabilities. It was their third such request in the past 12 hours. Dr. ZYX 427's chromatophores swirled with unease as they filed yet another rejection. The database displayed 17 similar requests from various research facilities across 3 sectors, each more insistent than the last. Something about the pattern triggered their probability nodes' warning protocols. Your protectiveness is admirable, Dr. Rivera said, reviewing the rejection notices on her datapad. But also concerning. The Zektheri aren't known for their medical research. Indeed. Dr. ZYX 427's appendages curled inward, a sign of deep thought. Their primary expertise lies in biological weapons development. Jack, now fully recovered and pacing the medical bay like a caged animal, stopped mid-stride. Weapons? Why would they? He paused, understanding dawning on his face. Oh. Right. Because if you can figure out how something heals, you can figure out how to prevent it from healing, Dr. Rivera finished grimly. Humanity has kept certain aspects of our biology, understated, for precisely this reason. The medical bay's secure door chimed, announcing the arrival of the Galactic Medical Ethics Committee's representative. The being that floated in resembled a collection of translucent spheres arranged in a complex geometric pattern. Its designation was unpronounceable in human languages. The database simply listed it as Observer 147. This committee has reviewed the preliminary data, Observer 147 announced, its spheres pulsing with each word. The implications are disturbing. Human cellular regeneration exceeds all known natural parameters. It suggests deliberate engineering. That's ridiculous, Dr. Rivera snapped. Humanity evolved these traits naturally over millions of years. We have fossil records. Which could be falsified, Observer 147 interrupted, its spheres taking on a reddish tint. The committee believes humanity has concealed the true extent of their biological capabilities. This incident merely confirms our suspicions. Dr. ZYX 427's diagnostic sensors detected Jack's stress hormone spiking. The human's newly healed skin had developed what the database identified as goosebumps, another fascinating survival trait that warranted further study, under less tense circumstances. "I'm a construction worker," Jack said quietly. "Not some engineered superbeing. I just want to get back to my job." "That may not be possible," Observer 147 stated. "The committee has classified you as a biological anomaly requiring further study. You will be transferred to a secure facility for—" The medical bay's lights suddenly flickered, cutting off the Observer mid-sentence. Dr. ZYX 427 security protocols activated as their sensors detected unauthorized access to the station's power grid. "Emergency protocols engaged," the medical AI announced. "Security breach detected in sectors 7 through 12. Unknown entities attempting to," the AI's voice cut out. Dr. Rivera's hand went to the small device concealed beneath her medical coat. "They're making their move sooner than expected. ZYX, seal the bay. Jack, stay close to me." "What's happening?" Jack demanded as emergency force fields sprang to life around the medical bay. "Someone," Dr. Rivera said grimly, "has decided not to wait for official channels. The price of knowledge about human biology just got a lot steeper." Through the medical bay's windows, they could see emergency lights painting the corridor beyond in crimson. Shadow figures moved in the darkness, their shape suggesting species from the far reaches of the galaxy, species not known for their ethical research practices. Observer 147 spheres had turned a deep, alarmed purple. "This is unprecedented. The committee will not stand for." "The committee," came a new voice from the supposedly secure communications system, "has been temporarily suspended. Now, about that human specimen." Dr. ZYX 427's probability nodes calculated their survival chances rapidly dropping. But as they looked at Jack, the impossible human who had survived the unsurvivable, they realized that perhaps probability wasn't the most reliable measure anymore. After all, humans had a habit of defying the impossible. And something told them they were about to witness that phenomenon again, firsthand. The medical bay's emergency force field hummed with strain as something massive impacted it from the corridor. Dr. ZYX 427's diagnostic sensors registered multiple life forms converging on their position, at least 7 distinct species, all armed with illegal tech suppressors. "The force field won't hold for long," Dr. Rivera said, her calm voice belying the tension in her stance. She had positioned herself between Jack and the door, the mysterious device from beneath her coat now visible, a compact neural disruptor, definitely not standard medical equipment. "ZYX, you need to understand what's really happening here." The doctor's chromatophores swirled with confusion. "Beyond the obvious attempt at unauthorized specimen acquisition? There's a black market," Jack explained, helping Observer 147 stabilize its geometric pattern after another impact shook the bay. For human biological samples. Dr. Rivera told me while you were filing those rejection notices. Apparently, we're quite valuable. Valuable doesn't begin to cover it. Dr. Rivera's eyes remained fixed on the door. Human blood alone can sell for enough credits to buy a small moon. Our cellular regeneration capabilities, they're beyond anything the galactic community has seen. And that makes us dangerous. Another impact. The force field flickered ominously. Dr. ZYX 427's probability nodes finally connected the patterns they'd been processing. The conflicting medical data in our databases. The missing records. The inconsistencies in human biological documentation. All deliberate, Dr. Rivera nodded. Humanity didn't just stumble into the galactic community. We knew what would happen if certain parties discovered our full capabilities. So we downplayed things. The station's AI struggled back online, its voice distorted. Warning, unauthorized vessels, docking in, multiple bays. Through the medical bay's windows, they could see more ships arriving, their designs suggesting origins from the galaxy's less reputable sectors. This wasn't just a simple kidnapping attempt, it was a coordinated operation. The Galactic Medical Ethics Committee has known about this. Observer 147's fears pulsed with what seemed like shame. We have documented 17 attempts to establish underground research facilities focused on human biology in the past solar cycle alone. But the scale of this operation. The force field crackled, geometric patterns of energy disruption spreading across its surface. They had minutes, maybe less. Dr. ZYX 427 made a decision that their probability nodes instantly flagged as career-ending. They extended their medical tentacles to the bay's central console, interfacing directly with the station's systems. There is a maintenance shaft behind the primary diagnostic array. It leads to the emergency shuttle bays. ZYX, Dr. Rivera's eyes widened. If you help us escape, you'll be violating at least 6 different medical protocols. Technically, the doctor's chromatophores shifted to a determined azure. I am simply ensuring the safety of my patient. And as chief xenobiologist, I cannot allow a unique specimen to be compromised by unauthorized parties. Jack grinned, that peculiarly human expression that somehow conveyed both amusement and determination. Doc, if we get out of this, I'm buying you whatever passes for a drink in your species. The force field gave one final surge of energy before collapsing. As the door began to slide open, Dr. Rivera raised her neural disruptor. ZYX, Observer 147, stay behind us. Jack, try not to demonstrate any more miraculous healing abilities for the next few minutes. Through the opening door came a diverse collection of beings, their tentacles, appendages, and cybernetic enhancements all aimed menacingly at the small group. The leader, a towering insectoid wearing what appeared to be modified medical armor, clicked its mandibles in what the database identified as amusement. How fortunate, it chittered. Not just the human specimen, but a government observer and the doctor who documented the regeneration. This will make our research much more comprehensive. Dr. ZYX 427's probability nodes calculated their survival chances at less than 2.3%. But then they noticed something interesting. Jack Chen was smiling again. And Dr. Rivera had shifted her stance in a way that suggested she'd been hoping for exactly this confrontation. Perhaps, the doctor realized, it was time to stop relying on probability when dealing with humans. The news spread through the galactic information networks faster than a quantum entanglement cascade. Humans weren't just deathworlders, they were practically immortal by most species standards. The footage from Starbase medical security systems had leaked, showing Jack Chen's impossible recovery in vivid detail. Dr. ZYX 427 watched the reporting from a secure medical facility on Europa, their chromatophores a troubled gray. The escape from the station had been eventful. Dr. Rivera's neural disruptor had proven surprisingly effective against the would-be kidnappers, but it was Jack who had truly shocked everyone. "You have to understand," Dr. Rivera explained to the small group gathered in the facility's conference room, "what you saw in that corridor wasn't just adrenaline. Humans don't just heal quickly, we're built to survive things that should kill us." The security footage played again on the holographic display. Jack Chen, cornered by the insectoid leader, had taken what should have been a lethal blow from a plasma cutter. Instead of dying, he had grabbed the superheated weapon with his bare hands, his skin blistering and healing almost simultaneously as he wrenched it away. Observer 147 spheres shifted through various colors of distress. The committee has received over 3,000 similar records in the past 24 hours. Humans surviving atmospheric re-entry. Regenerating lost limbs. Continuing to fight with injuries that would incapacitate any rational being. Which is precisely why we kept it quiet, Dr. Rivera sighed. Humanity knew how the galactic community would react. We're not just different, we're evolutionary outliers. Our entire biology breaks what most species consider fundamental laws of nature. Dr. ZYX 427's medical tentacles curled thoughtfully. The implications for medical science are unprecedented. But the ethical concerns are already causing panic, Jack interrupted, gesturing at another holographic window showing diplomatic channels erupting with activity. 3 species have already called for human quarantine. They're calling us a biological threat to galactic stability. The doctor's probability nodes processed this with growing concern. Their career was effectively over, helping humans escape their would-be captors had violated too many protocols to count. But somehow, that seemed less important than the larger crisis unfolding. "There's something else," Dr. Rivera said quietly, bringing up a new set of data. The attack on the station wasn't just about capturing Jack. We've confirmed that similar attempts were made at 12 other medical facilities where humans were receiving treatment. This was coordinated on a scale that suggests high-level involvement. Observer 147 finished, its spheres darkening. Elements within the Galactic Medical Ethics Committee itself may be compromised. Jack stood up from the conference table, his recently healed hands clenching. "So what do we do? I'm not keen on spending the rest of my life as someone's research subject, and I doubt the rest of humanity will accept being quarantined." Dr. ZYX 427's chromatophores suddenly brightened with inspiration. Perhaps we have been approaching this from the wrong perspective. The galaxy fears human biology because it doesn't understand it. But what if we could demonstrate that this understanding could benefit everyone? "You have an idea, Doc?" Jack raised an eyebrow. "Your regenerative capabilities saved your life," the doctor's appendages moved with growing excitement. "But more importantly, they demonstrated possibilities that our medical science had deemed impossible. If we could understand these processes, ethically, with human cooperation, we could revolutionize medical treatment for all species." Dr. Rivera's expression shifted from concern to cautious hope. A partnership instead of exploitation. But would the galactic community accept that? "They'll have to," Observer 147 said, its spheres taking on a determined gold hue. "Because the alternative is attempting to contain a species that can survive things that should be fatal, heal from nearly any injury, and has already proven remarkably resourceful in crisis situations." Through the facility's windows, Earth hung like a blue jewel in the void. A planet that had forged its inhabitants into something the galaxy had never seen before, and now feared. But as Dr. ZYX 427's probability nodes calculated the possible outcomes, they realized that fear might not be the only possible response to humanity's remarkable nature. Sometimes, the doctor reflected, the most dangerous thing in the universe isn't the ability to survive against all odds, it's the possibility that such ability might change everything we think we know about life itself. The Galactic Council's emergency session marked the first time in recorded history that every member species had attended without a single abstention. The massive chamber on New Geneva Station hummed with tension as representatives from across known space debated humanity's status in the galactic community. Dr. ZYX-427 had never imagined they would address such an assembly. Their chromatophores shifted nervously as they approached the central podium, medical tentacles clutching the data crystals that contained their research. Honorable representatives, they began, the fear surrounding human biological capabilities is understandable, but misguided. What we've discovered in our research isn't just remarkable. It's revolutionary. The holographic displays activated, showing cellular reconstruction at the quantum level. Jack Chen's healing process, recorded in microscopic detail during the station incident, played out before the assembled delegates. Human cellular regeneration isn't magic, Dr. Rivera stepped forward, her voice steady. It's the result of evolutionary adaptations to one of the most hostile environments to ever produce sentient life. Earth didn't just challenge humanity, it forced us to become virtually indestructible. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. A representative from the Nexus Collective, their crystalline form glittering, rose to object. The threat is precisely why quarantine is necessary. A species with such aggressive biological capabilities is exactly what this galaxy needs, Jack interrupted, stepping up to the podium despite protocol. His recently healed hands spread wide in a gesture of openness. Look at your medical records. How many of your people die from injuries that humans routinely survive? What if we could change that? Dr. ZYX-427's probability nodes registered the shift in the chamber's atmosphere. Their chromatophores brightened as they advanced to the next set of data. We've isolated the key mechanisms of human cellular regeneration. More importantly, we've discovered they can be adapted, safely and ethically, to benefit other species. The displays shifted to show successful trials, a Vexillian regrowing a lost limb using modified human stem cell therapy, a Zixian surviving radiation exposure that would have previously been fatal, an entire colony of Nexus beings recovering from a devastating plague through engineered human antibodies. Humanity doesn't want to dominate the galaxy, Dr. Rivera's voice carried across the now silent chamber. We want to help heal it. Observer 147 floated forward, its spheres a calm, authoritative blue. The Ethics Committee has reviewed all data. While the initial reaction to human biological capabilities was fear-based, we cannot ignore the potential benefits. More importantly, we cannot ignore the fundamental truth: humanity's dangerous traits exist to preserve life, not destroy it. The chamber erupted in discussion, but something had changed. The fear was giving way to curiosity, to possibility, to hope. Then the chamber's security alerts blared. Multiple unauthorized vessels approaching, the station AI announced. Energy signatures match known bioweapons research facilities. They are charging weapons. Jack's expression hardened. They're not going to let this happen without a fight, are they? Dr. ZYX-427's chromatophores flashed with determination. Then perhaps it's time to show the galaxy another human trait, the ability to protect others. Through the chamber's vast windows, they could see the attacking ships approaching. But they could also see the Galactic Council's defense fleet moving to intercept, joined by vessels from Earth. Humanity's first official allies in what would either be their greatest triumph or their greatest challenge. Dr. Rivera's hand found the neural disruptor she still carried. Sometimes the best way to prove you're not a threat is to defend those who feared you. Observer 147 spheres pulsed with what could only be described as anticipation. The galaxy is about to learn that human resilience isn't just about surviving. It's about ensuring others survive too. As the station's defense shields hummed to life, Dr. ZYX-427's probability nodes calculated their chances. But for once, they didn't focus on survival probability. Instead, they calculated the odds of this moment changing galactic history forever. The numbers, for the first time, were overwhelmingly positive. The battle for New Geneva Station lasted exactly 17 minutes. In the end, it wasn't superior firepower or advanced technology that turned the tide, it was the simple fact that you couldn't intimidate a species that had evolved to survive everything from asteroid impacts to nuclear winter. 1 month later, Dr. ZYX-427's chromatophores rippled with pride as they watched the inauguration of the first Galactic Medical Exchange Center. The massive facility, built in Earth orbit, represented everything they had fought for: cooperation, understanding, and the sharing of knowledge that could benefit all species. "Still can't believe we pulled it off," Jack Chen said, standing beside the doctor in his new uniform. After the incident, he'd traded construction work for a position as Chief Safety Officer of the new facility. His formerly injured hands now helped guide other species through the process of receiving human-inspired medical treatments. "The statistics are remarkable," Observer 147 noted, its spheres glowing with satisfaction. "In just 1 month, human-derived medical techniques have reduced mortality rates across 17 species by an average of 63%. The Galactic Medical Ethics Committee has officially classified humanity not as a threat, but as an essential component of medical advancement." Dr. Rivera approached their observation window, her own medical coat now bearing the insignia of both Earth and the Galactic Council. "But that's not the real victory, is it, ZYX?" The doctor's chromatophores shifted to a thoughtful blue. "Indeed. The true achievement lies not in the medical advances, though they are extraordinary. It lies in what we learned about ourselves, all of us." Through the window, they watched as ships from across the galaxy docked at the medical center. Each carried beings who had once feared humanity's differences, but now sought to understand them. To learn from them. To grow stronger together. "You know what I realized?" Jack said, pressing a hand against the transparent barrier. "Everyone thought Earth made us dangerous because it was trying to kill us. But that's not it at all. Earth made us survivors because it was teaching us to live." Dr. ZYX-427's probability nodes processed this with new understanding. "Your species' remarkable resilience isn't about being indestructible," Dr. Rivera finished. "It's about adaptation. About facing challenges and finding ways not just to survive them, but to help others survive them too. That's the real gift Earth gave us." Observer 147 spheres arranged themselves in a pattern that the doctor's database now recognized as profound realization. Perhaps that is why the galaxy feared humanity at first. Not because you were too different, but because you showed us what we could become. Change, even beneficial change, can be frightening.